Good evening, Manisha ma'am. Shall we begin?
Yes, madam. Good evening. We can start.
Sure. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Faculty Development Program on a systematic way of writing a research paper, organized by Research Foundation of India in association with Parul University, Gujarat, sponsored by Shodh University, Eklavya University, JHCRF, ARGM, and Education Academic Inc. Our expert for today is none other than Dr. Manisha Singhai ma'am. Dr. Manisha Singhai ma'am is a highly accomplished academic and researcher with over 22 years of teaching experience and 30 years of research experience. Her achievements include she has published over 110 publications in reputed national and international journals and books. She is developing case studies, psychological tests, and monographs, editing 3 books and having 2 patents. Her achievements also include conducting training programs on development, motivation, work life balance, mental health, and stress management. She is also the recognized PhD supervisor at Devi Ahilya University and ITM University. She is also the recipient of awards like Best Researcher and Best Teacher. Heartily welcome, ma'am. Your presence will be so beneficial for all of us.
Yes, thank you, Swarnika, for such an amazing introduction. I am humbled to hear this. And to start with the session, I'm trying to share my screen. Is my presentation visible to all of you?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Okay, thank you. So today, good evening, everybody. I am Dr. Manisha Singhai. I am associated with Prestige Institute of Management and Research, Indore. And today's topic, which is scheduled for today, it is understanding ethical issues in research paper writing and plagiarism. So all of us know how it is important to follow the guidelines in writing research paper and publishing it. So that is why we have planned this session for all of you. So before we start this session, first, we will try to understand that what we are going to learn in today's session. So I have identified certain learning objectives for the session. So after this session, we should be able to understand the key ethical principles which are associated with academic research and publication. And at the same time, we should be able to understand the common forms of misconduct which intentionally or unintentionally we commit in research and publication. Then we should be able to apply various ethical standards for deciding about the authorship, for handling the data which we collect, and for peer review also. And there are certain institutional level and journal level ethical requirements which we should follow. So after this session, we should be able to understand all these things. So before we start this session on understanding ethical guidelines for writing and publishing a research paper, I would like to introduce myself. Okay, so am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think I should switch off my camera till the time power cut is there. Okay. So With lots of experience in life, we all understood that what does it mean by ethics? Because in every walk of life, we need to follow those ethics. So we know that ethics are guidelines which tell us that in any aspect, what is right or what is wrong. So in publications and in writing research paper also, we need to follow those guidelines. And these guidelines are known as publication ethics. And what we are doing after following these publication ethics, we need to give that impression and understanding that we are honest in conducting research and we are trustworthy. And when we follow these publication ethics, we can contribute in reliable research, and we can communicate to the research community also. And in general, we can contribute in society also if we are doing reliable research, if we are doing honest research. If we are maintaining that honesty and transparency in the research, the outcomes or results of research can be used by the research community and by the society for upliftment also in whatever area we are conducting research, right? So we need to follow certain core principles of which are related to research ethics. And these core principles include honesty, objectivity, integrity, transparency, and respect for intellectual property. And it also includes responsibility. The thing which we need to understand for today's session is that it is not that we are not aware about all these things, but it is important that we should remind ourselves that we need to follow these core principles, right? So that is why for that reminder, we are having this today's session so that we can understand its value and we can remind ourselves again and again that whenever we are trying to conduct a research, we need to follow these core principles of research ethics, that we should be honest in data collection, in analysis, and in reporting also, that the results which we are getting after conducting a research, we need to report those results properly and honestly, so that if these results are used by any research community or by any body of society, then they can give real help to those agencies or bodies. So we have to be honest in collection and analysis also, but at the same time, we have to be honest in reporting also, whatever the research we are conducting. I suppose most of us are belonging to management or commerce or social science community, but if somebody is from medical science or technology, then even then the more integrity is required in those fields. Other than maintaining honesty, we should be objective in research. It means that we should not be biased to anybody or to any respondent or to any particular variable. We should not think that we like this type of result, so we should be able to get that result, that there should be no difference or there should be difference between two study groups or two variables. But we should be honest, we should be objective. It means that we should try to avoid any type of bias when we are talking about conducting research and talking about the results, right? We should have integrity also. It means that we should have consistency between words, data, and action. So whatever we are thinking, whatever we are quoting, and whatever the data we are managing or handling, we should be maintain that integrity, and we should also maintain transparency. It means that we share all the things, all the all the reporting properly. We should cite whenever we are using other people's work. So with transparency, we should declare that what we are doing and for what we are doing and how we are doing. In that manner, we can show respect to intellectual property, and at the same time, we can fulfill the responsibility which we have towards the ethical conduct in the research. This research may be related to social science. This research may be related to psychology. This research may be related to a survey, related to any public policy, or maybe related to medical field, maybe related to engineering field, maybe related to finance, any field. So we should be accountable and we should be responsible for that particular research. And if we feel that accountability and responsibility, certainly we will follow all these core principles of research ethics. Uh, there are certain issues which are there related to maintaining ethics in research. So today we will discuss those issues, those concepts, or those types of misconduct. As initially I have said that this may be intentionally or this may be unintentionally. At times we are not aware, at times we don't give that attention to what we are doing. We just do it because at times we feel pressure from the organizations to conduct certain research and to publish the research. So that is why at times unintentionally we commit certain mistakes, or we follow certain unethical processes. So to avoid those processes, those practices, first we need to understand. So first we are going to talk about ethical issues in research process. When we are trying to conduct a research, so in the process, what ethical misconduct we can commit, or what are the ethical issues which are related to that research process, first we need to understand those, right? Am I properly audible till now? Can somebody respond?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. So first we will talk about ethical issues in research process. So here we are going to talk about data collection. We are going to talk about storage and manipulation. Then we will talk about certain interesting terms like fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. And we will also talk about how to obtain ethical clearance for human or animal studies. I'm not sure whether anybody here who is attending is related to animal studies, but because we are talking about ethics in research, so we will touch upon this aspect also, right? So first of all, when we talk about the process of data collection, what we should do, we should collect that data honestly and with objectivity without any manipulation or bias. And at the same time, we should also inform the participants about the purpose of study, and we should try to take their consent also, voluntary consent. It means that whenever you are collecting the data, it should not be forceful. Until and unless anybody is ready to respond, we should not try to get that data. At times what people are doing, that they try to hide for what purpose they are collecting this data, that this is wrong from the ethical perspective of collecting the data. So participants should be aware that for what this study is being conducted, and we should take their consent also. Say for example, I belong to management field, specifically in HRM field, and if I want to conduct any data on job satisfaction of the employees, so what I should do, I should inform the employees. Otherwise, what will happen if I am hiding the data, hiding the purpose of my research, then what will happen, that people may give the responses which they may not like to give. But because we want their responses, so we are trying to hide the purpose, which is wrong from the ethical perspectives. When we are taking the data, then we should maintain the safety of respondent also and their respect also. We should try to maintain privacy and confidentiality, and we should declare that the data or the responses which you will give, it will be kept confidential. So that people feel that their responses will not be shared with anybody, with their employers or with their colleagues, so that they will feel that they can give the right responses to your questions or items, right? And you should not force them to give responses. Those who are willingly giving the responses, we should try to collect the responses from only those respondents. So force should not be used to collect data. So these things we need to keep in mind while we are collecting the data. When we are storing the data, again, we should maintain some integrity in that also. So we should store the data in such a manner that unauthorized access is not given to anybody else, which is not related to that study. And at the same time, we should also prevent loss of data. Nowadays, it is very simple because we have different tools and we keep all these things safe in soft copy, but it should be properly protected so others cannot access it, and others unauthorizedly they cannot use your data. So data protection you need to maintain, and you need to maintain the complete and accurate records, right? From where you have collected the data. You need to maintain the details about the demographics of the respondents who have responded to your research, at the same time, on in which time frame you have collected the data. This proper information should be with you. It means that whenever we are collecting the data, we should try to convert it into the research, and we should try to publicize it on time, because if you are having a large gap between the collection of data and publication of research, then that data may lose its relevance. Say, for example, nowadays we can talk about like pre-COVID and post-COVID, right? So if you have collected any data in pre-COVID scenario, and if you are presenting it in the research paper form in today's scenario, there may be huge difference. So time frame is also important. So you should store the data properly with time frame, so that whenever you will publish it, you will be able to tell, you will be able to justify that why your results are like this. So this data storage is very important. Now coming to data manipulation. Data manipulation is nothing but you are selectively reporting your data so that it can fit to your hypothesis. At times, what happens that whenever we do certain kind of research, specifically in social science, so we try to establish a significant influence of some variable on the other. Say, for example, if I am conducting a research on organizational commitment, and I am trying to understand that what is the difference between male and female employees in organizational commitment. And if we have some assumption, and if we want to say that male and female employees are significantly different in terms of organizational commitment, and if our data is saying that there is no significant difference, so at times what researchers are doing, they are manipulating the data so that they can get desired results. But this is a wrong practice as far as research ethics are concerned. I'm sure that people are doing this in PhD also. When they are writing the thesis, they are also doing in that also, that if they are not getting any significant research, or their null hypothesis is accepted, like there is no significant difference, then certainly they try to manipulate the data so that they can get the desired results. So this should not be done. If at all, whenever you are trying to modify the data, it should be scientifically justified and it should be documented properly. So there are different methods of doing that also, but this session is not for that particular aspect, so we will not be covering that. But if at all some modification in the data is required, you should be able to justify it properly and scientifically. So we should avoid data manipulation without scientific justification. Now, another category which we need to understand it, fabrication, falsification, and plagiarism. We should be able to understand these terms. So whenever we are doing the research, we should be able to take care of all these things. So first, we are going to talk about fabrication. Fabrication is nothing but making up the data or results which was never obtained. Means that we have never conducted any research, we have not collected any data, we have not contacted any participant, or we have not conducted any experiment. But what we are doing, we are trying to create that data. So whenever we are doing, or any researcher is doing this, it calls fabrication, right? So it means that, because it means that actually nothing is existing, but you are trying to create. So this is fabrication. We should not do it. Again, one misconduct we can commit in the data. It is falsification. It means that manipulation of data, about which we were talking about right now. That at the whenever we try to analyze the data, and we feel that the results are not according to our assumption, so what we try to do, we adjust the data points so that results appear significant. So if we are not getting any significant result in different categories of respondents or in different variables, so whenever we are trying to manipulate the data or equipments or research processes which are giving the desired results, which is wrong, this particular practice is known as falsification of data. Then coming to plagiarism. This is very talked concept nowadays because many AI tools are available which help us to understand what is the level of percentage of plagiarism we are having in our research work. But before that, we should try to understand that what does it mean by plagiarism. Plagiarism is nothing but when we are using presenting others viewpoints, presenting other results of other researchers, or we are using words of other researchers and without giving proper credit, then it comes under the category of plagiarism. For that, what we do, we can copy it, we can paraphrase it without citation, or we can use images and data without acknowledgement. So whenever we are presenting any graph, any figure, any image, or any paragraph or anything, if we are presenting it as your ours, then it comes under the category of plagiarism. There are some other aspects which are related to plagiarism. We will understand in coming part of the presentation or this session. But this is the offense which we, or misconduct which we follow generally, because we want to prepare a research paper in a hurry, because we have certain deadlines, we have certain pressures of, as far as academicians are concerned, because I am also an academician, so I understand the pressure which we need to face from academic institutions, that we need to publish these many number of research papers in a given year for performance appraisal and for other things. So at times what we do to have a shortcut, we try to copy the paragraphs which are given in other research papers, and specifically it comes under the category of plagiarism when we are copying the long paragraphs and long sentences, and we are not giving any due credit to the original researcher, then it comes under the category of plagiarism. So we should avoid the fabrication, falsification of data, and at the same time we should also avoid plagiarism. And nowadays, there are many paid and free tools are available to check plagiarism. So all the institutions are taking care of this aspect, and they try to check the plagiarism of research papers also. And at the same time, interestingly, the assignments which students are submitting in some university and some institutions, it is very important for students to submit a plagiarism report with their assignment to the faculty members. So when students are supposed to do this, so as academicians, it is for our conscience that we should follow this particular tool, and we should take care that our plagiarism is not coming more than 10%. Now coming to talk about ethical clearance for human or animal studies. At times what happens that when humans and animals are involved in some types of research, and specifically if this research can create certain harm to the respondents, then this is very important to take ethical clearance or approval or formal permission, which may be granted by ethics committee or institutional review board. And before conducting that research, we should take that approval, so that we can ensure that respondents are safe, and their dignity is protected, and their physical and emotional harm is also protected. And specifically in the case of human research, it is medical research, it is important. And in the case of animal research, it is also important that animals, they cannot share their feelings and their emotions with us, or their pains with us. So it becomes more important whenever we are conducting animal studies also. Why it is important? As I already said, that first of all, we should protect their dignity, we should protect their safety, we should protect their rights, and at the same time we should prevent them from physical, psychological, or social risk or harm. We should be honest in conducting that research. And for conducting certain types of research on animals and human beings, legal compliances are very important, because we conduct social science research, psychology, HR, marketing. So we generally we don't require, or we don't have any such legal compliance. But when we are talking about some research which is related to security of any country, which is related to medical field, like when the scientists were trying to find a vaccine for COVID, and there were many people involved in that research. So certainly they were required to follow certain legal compliances, and they were required to take formal permission from regulatory bodies. And whenever we take such types of permission and when we conduct research, it enhances the credibility of that research also, that this research has followed all the proper guidelines and with all the security measures, this research has been conducted. Now coming to what we should do whenever we are trying to do human studies. First thing, informed consent. We were talking about earlier also about this, that we should try to inform the participants that what is the purpose of the study, what procedure will be followed in this study, and what risk and benefits are involved in the study. Generally, in social science research, risk is not there, but yes, of course, confidentiality has to be maintained. Like I have given you the example that if we are taking responses on job satisfaction scale, and if any employee is giving response, he will not like that his responses should be shared with his employers, because if he is dissatisfied and employers would come to know that this employee is dissatisfied, then there may be problem in his employment also. So we should first try to take informed consent. It means that after informing about the purpose of a study, after informing about the procedure and risk and benefits, we should try to take his consent to respond on the scale. As we have discussed earlier also, that we should not try to take responses forcefully. We should avoid it. After getting responses, we should try to maintain confidentiality, that his personal data should not be shared with anybody else, to protect him from any harm and to maintain the credibility of our research. And at the same time, we should try to avoid unnecessary physical or psychological harm. In social studies, social science studies, physical harm is not there, but emotional or psychological harm may be there. Like you may be asking some information which may be related to some emotional aspect. Whenever we try to understand some health related anxiety, we try to take data on some emotional issues, depression, anxiety. So at that point of time, we should ensure that, or we should establish a connection with the respondent, that he is not harmed psychologically or emotionally. Whenever we are trying to involve vulnerable groups in our study, we should take extra care of those groups. Like if we are conducting any study on children or elderly people, we should try to protect them, and we should try to take extra care of those people, because these are groups which can be harmed very easily. So we should try to give extra care to these groups. And importantly, there should be right to withdraw. It means that even after response, or even after giving consent to be the part of any experiment, if any respondent is saying that he wants to discontinue his participation, then this right is with him, and you should immediately discontinue his participation from your research. If it is experiment, he should be discontinued. And if you have taken his responses in through any scale or through any questionnaire, then you need to exclude responses of that participant from your data. So that right to withdraw will be with the participants from the beginning to the end. So this ethical consideration you need to keep in mind whenever you are conducting human studies. Animal studies, because we are not related to that particular part, so we will not talk about this in detail. But in animal studies, certain ethical considerations are like replacement. Whenever animals testing can be replaced with any other, like we can have computer models or different artificial cell structures in medical field, we should use this. We should minimize or reduce the use of animals in the research, and this should be very refined, so that animals are not at pain, and proper housing and caring should be given to the animals. And regulatory compliance related to animal studies we should follow at all the times. But in detail we are not going to discuss this, because I suppose that any of us are not related to animal studies, right? Till now, are we clear? Anybody can respond?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Uh, Now we are going to talk about basic process which we can follow in obtaining ethical clearance for conducting any research, if at all it is required. Because whenever as academician we conduct any management research, so generally we need not to take any ethical clearance or legal clearance. But whenever it is required, if we are conducting any research project for society and involving any government or non-government body or employees, so what we need, or if we are trying to conduct any research or any specific organization, so we need to take clearance from that organization. So what the basic process which we need to follow? First, we need to submit a research proposal where we will be talking about the objective of research, methodology, and expected outcomes, and what is the risk involved in it. And after getting after submitting this research proposal, there will be a review by ethics committee, and ethics committee will evaluate your research proposal from all the aspects which is related to them, whether legal compliance is followed or not, whether there is any huge risk in that. So from all perspective, they will try to review it, and they may give approval to your research project as it was submitted, or they may suggest some modification also, like we do in research degree committee when we go for PhD. So there also what we need to do, we need to submit a synopsis, then it is evaluated by the expert committee which is related to that, not a specifically ethical committee, but they follow the ethical guidelines also, and they take care of those ethical guidelines. And then after that, RDC, they approve as it is, or they suggest some modification, or they may reject it also on certain basis, like it is very repetitive. Many research has been conducted on this proper in particular aspect, or there may be problem in data collection, or there may be some ethical issues or legal issues in that, so it may be rejected also. But even if you are getting approval for your research, there will be periodic monitoring also. So that is why in PhD you need to submit progress report every 6 months, right? So that the body which has approved your research, they can understand that on which stage you are working, or whether you are working or not. So they will monitor this also. So this is the basic process when we are trying to take ethical clearance for our research. Now coming to authorship ethics, it is very important for academicians, as all of you agree that we have some kind of pressure of number of publications in a year. So at times we do partnership. I am sure that आप भी ऐसा कर रहे होंगे, we get indulged in partnership for research papers, right? So what we need to understand here, that there are certain criteria for authorship, and at the same time there is a concept of ghost, guest, and gift authorship, and there is a role of corresponding author who is communicating with the journal. So we should be able to understand and follow all these guidelines which are related to authorship, which is very important for us. So first of all, there are certain criteria which every author should meet to get his or her name included in the authorship of any research paper. So although we know all these things, but we should remind ourselves, because at times we are so engrossed in a routine that while writing a research paper or publication of research paper, we unintentionally forget about all these things. So this is just reminder or refresher session for all of us. So first thing and foremost guideline for having authorship is that there should be a very significant contribution in preparation of the any research project or research paper. This contribution may be related to having a concept or making a design for research, or collecting a data, or doing its analysis or interpretation, or drafting it, right? Because whenever we conduct collective research, it is not necessary that every researcher will be equally competent in all the aspects of research paper writing. Like research paper writing, is related to review of literature, conceptual clarity also. It is having data collection also. Then statistical tools are required to analyze the data and to interpret that data. Somebody may, some researcher or somebody, some partner may be good at writing it. So distribution of the responsibility can be done, but to get the authorship of any research paper, we should contribute significantly in that research. And at the same time, final approval of all the researcher or all the authors should obtain before sending it to publication, because ultimately their name will be appeared in the research paper. So their agreement is important. So without their agreement, it should not be sent for publication. And that is why journals, after selecting your research paper for publication, generally they send one declaration form where you declare that it is your work and you are giving consent for the publication of that work. Then there are different types of unethical authorship. Very interesting to know these terms. One is ghost authorship, another one is guest or honorary authorship, and one is gift authorship. Ghost authorship means that somebody is writing research paper for you, but you are not giving any name of that author in your research paper. At times, people who are at senior level, and because they don't have time to write a research paper, so they use such type of authorship that is called ghost authorship. Generally, junior researchers are used in doing this ghost authorship, that you are writing article or research paper for somebody else, but your name will not be listed in the authorship of that research paper. This is very bad and it should not be used at all, right? It means that if you are using it, then it means that you are making your research commercial, which is not required specifically when we are in academics. Then another type of authorship is called guest or honorary authorship. Why we do this? Because that author has not contributed significantly in your paper, but that person is on such a level that if you will include his name in authorship, prestige of your paper will improve, or recognition of your paper will improve. Say, for example, you are belonging to an institution and you are trying to include the name of the person who belongs to industry, or if you want to show that your research paper is written with the contribution of authors from different countries, but they have not contributed in your research paper, but just to increase that prestige, you are including their name. This professor is from any university from America or any foreign country, or related to any specific business organization on a very higher position. So if you feel that if you include his name in your paper, so there will be better chances of publication of your paper, because the recognition of paper of your paper automatically gets increased. So whenever you are doing it, it is called guest or honorary authorship. Then coming to gift or authorship, it means that you are trying to contribute, you are trying to give anybody's name in your paper just to please that particular person. Generally, it happens with research guides, that when we are trying to write a thesis, at that point of time we are including his or her name in the paper. It is okay because it is related to your thesis. But some researchers, even after completing their PhD and even they are doing research on certain other aspects, so in respect of that person, they give authorship to guide also. So that is called gift authorship. At times, for our convenience or increase the number of publications, what we do amongst ourselves, we decide that I write one paper, you write one paper, and we both give names of each other in our paper, so that after writing one paper, we have two papers in our credit. So all these practices which we are following, but we should try to avoid those practices. Now, one corresponding author is there who is having the responsibility to communicate with the journal where we want to publish our research paper, right? So his role is just to maintain proper communication with the journal and to take consent from all the authors and to ensure that all the submissions are done on time. And if some revision is there, then this revision should be done on time. So this is the simple role of corresponding author, and anybody can play this role in the authorship. What we should follow, because we are talking about many misconduct which we commit in research. What are best practices which we need to follow in authorship? So first, we should decide the authorship early in the project or the research paper. So whenever we are deciding that we want to write this research paper, we should try to decide on that time only that who should be the author of this research paper and what should be their contribution. So you should divide that work according to the competence. Somebody is good in writing review of literature and introduction, they should be given that responsibility. Somebody is good in data analysis, so they should be given responsibility of data analysis. So, but whatever we are trying to decide, this should be decided in the beginning only. After completing the work, if you are deciding that this should be included and this author should not be included, this is not a good practice. So before you are actually coming on ground for research paper, authorship should be properly decided. If we are doing it, then you should avoid all the malpractices and you should be able to avoid all the dissatisfaction amongst the authors of any research paper. So this is the basic practice we should follow, and I am sure that all of you are following this practice. Now, a very important aspect which we are going to discuss here, it is plagiarism. So as I told you that this is very popularly used process in term, because now AI tools are available to check plagiarism. So universities are also using these tools before getting submission for PhD thesis or other MPhil thesis or research papers. And they are maintaining that standard that generally it has been said that plagiarism for anything should not be more than 10%. And nowadays we have tools which also detect AI writing, because many AI tools are available which they can be used to write something on some any topic. So if you are using that material, so your detection tool will also identify that what is the percentage of AI writing. So it should not be more than 10 to 20%. There are certain things which are coming under plagiarism, like direct copying, verbatim, word to word you are copying without citation, or you are paraphrasing it. It means that you are trying to change the language, but without changing very few words without giving the reference or citation, or you are using others' data or figures. We were talking that we should maintain the security of our data because it can be used by others also if we are not properly protecting it. But if you are doing it, if you are having access to others' data and you are writing a research paper on that data, this will also come under the category of plagiarism. And whatever the research findings of others you are giving without citation or without proper referencing, it means that your research is coming under the category of plagiarism. I'm sure we all know that, but only thing that we should keep reminding this to us so that we are not caught again in these unethical practices. Here we are going to talk about self-plagiarism and duplication. Self-plagiarism means we are reusing our own previously published work without citing it. Say for example, we have made some review of literature for one paper, and we are using that same review of literature for other paper which is on the similar variables. So we should avoid this. We should try to write a fresh review of literature, and we can commit the mistake of duplication also. It means that because we are in hurry of publication, so generally at times people, what they do, they send one research paper of theirs to multiple journals or conferences, which is very wrong. Because why we send those? Because we feel that one journal will accept, one may reject it. So to save the time, we send it to multiple journals, and at the time few researchers, I'm sure that very few researchers are doing it, that if the paper is accepted by 2 or more journals, they let it get published, which is very wrong. And at one point of time you will be caught, because today we are sitting in the scenario where technology catches everything. So we should not do this, and we should not use the same paper for various conferences. At times what people do, they are presenting the same paper, but they are changing the title, which is very wrong. And we as academician, because this is very noble profession, so we should not do all these things. Now there are certain plagiarism tools, detection tools. Some are paid, some are free. Some are free, but their advanced version is paid. So we can use these tools so that we are not caught in plagiarism. And before sending our paper for publication, we can know about that what is the percentage of plagiarism or AI writing in our paper, so that we can change accordingly. So Turnitin, Authenticate, these are very popular tools. Specifically, Turnitin is very popular tool to use plagiarism, but it is paid tool which we can use. So generally, educational institutes, they have subscription of this tool. And whenever you are using these tools, so you should properly follow the guidelines for making corrections in your paper. And as I have told you, generally universities or journals, they are accepting the plagiarism report below 10%, and AI writing 10 to 20% only. Then when we are trying to avoid plagiarism, and we are trying to paraphrase it, then we should keep in mind that whenever you are trying to paraphrase it, even then you should try to give the reference from where you have taken the content or the idea, and you are trying to present it in your own words and sentence structure. And at the same time, whenever you are citing, you should give proper responses, proper referencing, sorry, in different styles. It may be MLA, it may be APA, or Chicago, or journal specific style. Here I have used one term that is called patch writing. Patch writing means whenever you try to paraphrase smartly, what authors are doing, they are changing just very few words, and they said that they have done paraphrasing, which is wrong. When you are doing paraphrasing, you need to do it properly. You should avoid patch writing, and proper references should be given. These are the free tools which you can use for plagiarism check: Quillbot, Grammarly, GoPro, QText, small SEO tools, CopyLeak, DupliChecker, Plagiarism Exchequer. There are certain other tools also, like Scribber, CopyLeak, advanced version, Turnitin, Grammarly, Winston AI. So they have different percentage of accuracy, like Scribber. Researchers have shown that, or data on online data is showing that Scribber gives 84% accuracy, CopyLeak up to 100%, Turnitin 99 to 100%. Grammarly, real-time scanning it is doing, Winston AI 70% accuracy, but all these are generally paid, or their advanced versions are paid. So if institution is purchasing, then it is good, because some institutional discounts are also available. Now I will show you, this is the sample report after using Turnitin. This, as you can see here, it is giving similarity scan index of 34%, and it is giving AI writing of 55%, which is not acceptable, right? So similarity index for many research publications, it should be less than 10%. AI rating should be 10 to 20%. This is the sample report. Very interesting quote related to or rule related to plagiarism is known as 5 consecutive word plagiarism rule. It is a guideline, but not a strict rule. It means that if you see technically, plagiarism rule is saying that if you are using 5 consecutive or continuous words of anybody else's writing, it should come in plagiarism category. But it is guideline, it is not rule, because at times some proverbs, some quotes, some researches, or some terms, they come under 5 words category, so they cannot be termed as plagiarism. So whenever you are using those things or you are quoting any definitions, so these should not come under the category of 5 consecutive word. You are mentioning the name of your institution, it may also come in plagiarism, so you should avoid those notifications. Then these ethics are there for peer reviews. So reviewers, they are getting, like I also get a lot many research papers for review. So we need, if you are reviewer in any journal, so you should follow those review ethics also. It means that you should do your review timely, because at times we have time pressure. So we get reminders from the journal. So because somebody else is waiting for his or her publication, so we should submit timely review, and our review should be properly done, unbiased, and it should be fair, and it should be maintained. We should maintain confidentiality of submitted manuscript, because you are having research paper which is written by others, so you should not use that idea or data for your personal gain, right? And authors के लिए जो responsibility है which you should follow, that you should write a research paper properly, following all the guidelines. You should maintain transparency, and you should not put unnecessary pressure on reviewers or editors, so that they can give good review, quality review, because they are taking sufficient time. Now there are certain committees on or norms which you can follow. You can refer a committee on publication ethics. There are certain norms of UGC and AICTE which you can refer from their sites. And there are certain institutional research ethics committees. So these committees guidelines you need to follow in maintaining your research ethics. So these guidelines you need to follow, right? And again, I will tell you that it is not that we are not aware about all these things, but we need to remind ourselves that yes, time to time we need to follow all these guidelines. Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes.
Ma'am, what is the difference between duplication and salami slicing?
Pardon me?
Ma'am, what is the difference between duplication and salami slicing? Salami slicing, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, sir. Salami slicing it is technical term for duplication, because we try to send the publication to many journals, and if we are accepting it, this is the technical term, and we should avoid it, because at one point of time it will be caught, and we will be caught, and we should try to avoid it.
One, ma'am, another question is also with me. Question is that which plagiarism is known as good plagiarism?
Pardon me?
Ma'am, which plagiarism is known as good plagiarism? Actually, it has been asked in the RDC.
Okay.
So, can you little bit give me knowledge regarding to that?
Sir, that I need to check, sir.
Okay.
If anybody has input on this, they can share. Anybody has idea about this?
Ma'am, it is not boot, it is good.
Yes, it is good
Good.
plagiarism.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you write
This
in
is
comment?
ethical also.
Can you write it
Yes,
in?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me. Can you write it in your this thing comment box? I'm not able to understand what you are saying. Good plagiarism. Okay. Actually, 8 to 10% is acceptable by any university or by any journal. Anybody else has any question? I initially mentioned that 8 to 10% any university or any journal will accept it.
मैम लेकिन जैसे कई जगह पे ऐसा भी होता है कि जो आपका सेल्फ प्लेगरिज्म होता है जहाँ पे आप काम करते हो तो यदि खुद का वर्क भी आप यूज करते हो तो मैम कई जगह उसको कंसिडरेबल किया जाता है क्योंकि अगर आप खुद का काम किए हो उसके अंदर कुछ फर्दर रिसर्च करते हो या फर्दर चेंजेस करते हो तो उसको भी गुड प्लेगरिज्म में ऐसा मानते हैं मैम.
But you should cite it. I have mentioned also in my previous slide that if you are doing self reporting, it means that self citation, you should cite this properly. I have given one example that we have written a review of literature for one paper, and the same variable if we are using in the other paper, and if we are not changing it or we are not updating it, then it is bad. But at the same time, if you are reporting your results of your previous study, so you should cite it that it is your research work, so you should give proper referencing to it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Any other thing?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Anybody else? And AI writing is also detected through plagiarism checker. So like good plagiarism is less than 10%. Similarly, good AI writing should not be more than 10 to 20%.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So
Thank you, ma'am.
can I end this meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful and insightful session. Thanks to all the
Thank you very
participants
much.
for being very patient and active. Thank you.